This week, Cuba Gooding Jr. and Skeet Ulrich race to save the country from terrorists in Chill Factor.
Brendan Fraser's the Mountie who always gets his man in Dudley Do-Right.
And Johnny Depp terrifies Charlize Theron, the astronaut's wife. Now, if that canister doesn't stay below 50 degrees, millions of people are going to die. And Cuba Gooding Jr. and Skeet Ulrich star in Chill Factor, one of 5 new movies we're going to be reviewing this week, plus the revival of Yellow Submarine. I'm Roger Ebert, film critic for the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Joel Siegel, film critic on ABC's Good Morning America.
Nice to have you back, Joel.
Nice to be here, Roger.
Okay, first movie. Our first movie is Chill Factor. And if this were a satirical parody of Speed, the plot description would sound just about the same, because instead of a bus that can't go slower than 50 miles an hour, we have a canister containing a biological warfare weapon that can't be heated above 50 degrees. The movie is mostly one long chase scene, and if you have to keep something cool, well, obviously, it makes perfect sense to use an ice cream truck.
Look, if I don't get this stuff to Magruder, it's goodbye Andy's ice cream, goodbye Jerome, goodbye Montana.
Wait, you don't believe the dead guy, do you?
Yeah, I believe him. He was my friend.
Crying out loud.
That's Skeet Ulrich as a general store clerk whose fishing buddy has just been shot by terrorists. The buddy is a high-ranking scientist who begged him to deliver a deadly defoliant to the government. Cuba Gooding Jr. is the ice cream truck driver who has a lot of reasons for not wanting to get involved.
911 emergency, please hold.
You got it. They put me on hold. Probably because they know a psycho when they hear one.
No, I'm not the psycho.
Hey, take a look at your situation and reconsider that statement there, Night Shift. You're a psycho and a hijacker.
Cut. The gun was empty.
Every time I look at you, I want to hit you.
You want to hand me?
The code name for the poison is Elvis, and the terrorists are not amused to learn that Elvis has left the building.
Hit it.
Hit him again. And here's a scene Buster Keaton would have been proud of. I am not quite sure why the rowboat never hits a tree. And of course, it goes without saying that the river is glacier-fed, which helps them to keep the canister below 50 degrees. Chill Factor is filled with logical dilemmas. For example, how does a grocery clerk in a borrowed ice cream truck manage to make a fake poison canister that's good enough to fool a terrorist? Another problem is the distance between Skeet Ulrich's earnest action performance and Cuba Gooding's goofy one-liners. I've got an idea for the sequel. Put Cuba Gooding on a treadmill, and it blows up if he stops.
Oh, that's a very, very good idea. The total and complete rip-off of a very, very good movie, Speed. And meteorologists call this time of year the dog days of summer because Sirius the Dog Star is in view in the southern sky. But movie critics know why it's called the dog days, because we got to sit through movies like The Chill Factor. So poorly directed. One sequence, the ice cream truck is hanging over a cliff.
Yeah.
And you see it hanging over a cliff in the opening shot. And then you don't see it hanging over the cliff again. The rest of the shot sequence are close-ups of the guys moving, close-ups of the wheels of the truck. They could be anywhere, and they are. The director doesn't even know how to direct that kind of scene.
Well, for example, that scene that we showed with a rowboat going down the hill, I mean, it's going through a forest. It's not going to be able to go, what is it, a quarter of a mile without hitting a tree. But you don't even ask questions like that. You ask questions like, why does Cuba Gooding constantly go for the wisecrack and the kind of a bubbling, cheerful, one-liner type of performance in a movie that everybody else thinks is this earnest thriller? I don't know if he's wrong or the others are wrong. The movie's so silly that maybe he's right.
Well, you ask questions like, they say Elvis has left the building. This is a movie where I was envious. Next movie, and it's called In Too Deep, the old cop undercover story where you know from the title that the cop goes in so deep, he's not sure if he's cop or crook. All the drug movie cliches are lined up like ducks in a row. The acquaintance who almost gives the cop away, the girlfriend who wants him to quit, the friendship with a guy he's trying to bust. But In Too Deep impressed me because of the way the cast and the filmmakers did their best to overcome the genre.
Make that happen. Yo, roll up close, man. I want to see the whites in this cat eyes.
You're holding that gun? Time is running out.
We out.
What you talking about, though?
Your brain vaporized like 10 minutes ago.
That's Omar Epps lecturing a room full of rookie cops on how to go undercover. The big dealer thereafter, played by rap star LL Cool J, calls himself God. Way obvious, but he impressed me too a lot. His turn on a dime bag from street charm to murdering sociopath, very convincing. He is a very good actor.
She said, yeah, that cop fooled everybody. Talking about you without a doubt, the picture brought him down, man.
Nah, we were a cop, Jay.
What you think?
I think you know the answer to that, clown.
Intense, yes. The gritty intensity is just part of what impressed me here. The cast is another. Stanley Tucci and Pam Grier, Foxy Brown herself, are among the stars of the Cincinnati Police Department.
Put that gun down!
Baker 1, do you request backup at this time?
Yes, the script has more cliches than there is tea in China. The hand in your gun and badge scene, the prove you're not a cop scene, the torture the traitor to the gang scene, which is very bloody. But the cast and the director deserve points for even trying to go beyond the genre here and get a thumbs up from me because sometimes they manage to succeed.
You know, I like this movie too, and I'll start with Omar Epps and LL Cool J, who are good actors and who do interesting things with these characters. And LL Cool J, who was just in Deep Blue Sea, is developing as much more than just a rap star who got into the movies. He's really
good.
a guy to watch.
You believed him there, you believe him here.
And Omar Epps, too, really, in a way, has a more difficult job. And what this movie is doing that's interesting is it shows that the drug culture is so permeated into this kind of neighborhood that it's almost like a social institution. And this drug dealer, who calls himself God, is also handing out turkey dinners and kind of running a welfare system like precinct workers used to do.
Like old political bosses used to.
And we kind of understand he's doing a very bad thing in selling these drugs, but he's not a really bad guy. And that's what makes it intriguing when he gets a relationship going with this cop.
There's also one very nice little throwaway piece of business of a woman who LL Cool J wants to use her apartment to do business. And he says, and I'll give you free drugs. And she says, no, I don't do that stuff anymore. And she looks great when she says that. He moves in. The next time we see her, it's about 2 months later in the plot. She looks like an extra from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
This is a movie about drugs that does not promote drug use.
It's a surprisingly good movie. Sometimes movies like this are advertised in such a way you think you know exactly what to expect. And in this case, you don't. Later in the show, Johnny Depp comes back from space to mystify the astronaut's wife.
Where you gonna go?
Coming up next, Brendan Fraser is Dudley Do-Right.
Do I like to shop? Oh, yes. How you doing? Franks and beans? Aisle 5. Beans and Franks? Aisle 7.
Hi.
Fat free. Nothing but cut. Check this out. You are 1 millionth shopper! Even at the supermarket, you can do more with the American Express card. I love this card.
Brendan Fraser and Sarah Jessica Parker find love at last in Dudley Do-Right, a cheerfully moronic live-action version of the TV cartoon series about a Canadian Mountie in the town of Semi-Happy Valley. In the film, his peaceful little town is threatened by the evil Snidely K. Whiplash, who spreads rumors of vampires to scare everybody away, and then spreads rumors of gold to start a gold rush.
Found some gold, have we?
No, there's no gold anywhere around here.
Oh, but there is. Lots of it. All over the place. And you horrid example of a human being, have made the initial discovery. You're famous.
That's Alfred Molina as Snidely Whiplash and Eric Idle as the gullible prospector. Snidely and Dudley yearn for the beautiful Nell Fenwick, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, who has just returned to Semi-Happy Valley after duty as the ambassador to Guam.
Hello, Snidely.
Oh, we've known each other too long to be that formal.
No, will you stop that?
Zowie!
Cool hat.
We try.
Dudley Do-Right is a likable movie with some very funny moments in it, but it seems a little thin for feature length. One problem may be that the characters are so resolutely one-dimensional that although that would be fine for a short cartoon, it's a problem when you have a full-length plot to get through, and they're not going to change. They're going to be exactly the same from beginning to end. There's a lot to like, though, in this movie, including the 3 leading performances and a kind of sublime simple-mindedness in the characters. I smiled a lot during the movie, but I can't quite recommend it for grown-up audiences, although my guess is kids might like it.
Kids like smearing strawberry jam all over their bodies and running through the house screaming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And in ways even more fun in this movie. I saw you exactly a week ago talking about animated films and saying that you gave 3 classic examples. In each example, you like the animated film better. And I'm watching this. I'm a big fan of Dudley. Da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. And the animated film was better in every way. And I'm wondering, why do this? Why do this?
Well, one reason is because George of the Jungle made so much money. So why not have him go back and make another J. Ward movie? And you know, Brendan Fraser is pretty good at this kind of stuff. I mean, he does about as much as can be done with it. And there are some big laughs in this movie. There's one scene which I don't want to give away the laugh on TV, but Dudley and his girlfriend Nell are rowing away from the corn festival. And Nell is saying, I wish we could have stayed for the fireworks. And if you can picture that scene, you know, I really thought that was funny. So there are some good things in it, but the fact is, it's basically 6 minutes of material at 87 minutes in length.
The guy bought the rights to Dudley Do-Right. He's got, must be 500 different little episodes. He could have stole better jokes. Coming up next, Johnny Depp goes on a space mission and comes back a changed man. Hollywood, we have a problem. There were no critic screenings of The Astronaut's Wife, which is usually a countdown to trouble. The studio doesn't want critics to see it, almost always because the movie stinks. So I go into the theater expecting to hate this movie. I am set, I'm psyched, the bile's backing up, the vitriol is flowing, and I didn't hate it. But even worse, I didn't care. Charlize Theron is the astronaut's wife. Johnny Depp, her husband, is in orbit. Joe Morton shows up. #1 suspect on my list. I saw his toenails and Brother from Another Planet. But no, he works for NASA.
Is my husband dead?
Ma'am, I don't know anything about the condition of her health.
Is my husband dead?
I just don't know.
Then take me to someone who does.
Well, of course he's not dead. Otherwise, the movie would have been 11 minutes long. And what bothered me is that The Astronaut's Wife is made by people who assume we've never seen another movie. For example, we're told Charlize Theron has emotional problems. But when she wonders whether Johnny Depp has been altered in outer space, we're supposed to suspect maybe he's fine, it's her. But we're smart enough to know that if that were true, there wouldn't be a movie.
I don't understand any of this. What they're talking about, it's like they're speaking in code.
Honey, it's business. That's all.
Why do you have to build that plane? The way you talk about it, it doesn't even sound like you.
Then Joe Morton shows up again. NASA fired him because he found out the truth. But does this mean he can't afford a razor blade? And wouldn't he be smart enough to know that if he behaved like a maniac, she'll never believe him?
They train for explosions. They train for accidents. They train for hundreds of hours. If something goes wrong, they have a plan. They don't panic. They don't deviate. They stick to the plan. That's what they do. Something happened out there that these 2 men had not trained for.
Finally, she realizes the twins she's pregnant with have an unearthly father, but we knew since she's wearing the Mia Farrow hairdo. Remember Pray for Rosemary's Baby? I was praying for Mrs. Siegel's baby, praying he'd stay awake.
Where you gonna go, Joe? Huh? Where you gonna go?
If I were her, I'd go see The Sixth Sense and find out how to do this right.
You know, I also went to the movie with the same state of mind because when they don't screen it, you figure it's probably a stinker, and it's not a stinker. I mean, a lot of movies that are screened are a lot worse than this one, but the problem is all the craft is there, all the technique is there. There's that wonderful shot of her in front of the big television monitor, so it's like she's landing on the space pad instead of the shuttle. Great photography, mood music, wonderful setups, and no payoff.
We've seen movies where aliens come because they want, they look at the Earth as a giant McDonald's, 2 billion served and they're going to eat all of us. This is the first time that I can recall that aliens want to take over the Earth by boring the people to death.
You know, it's interesting. Now, you kind of gave away the fact that she is pregnant with aliens, but I guess maybe people figure that. These aliens don't seem all that bad. I mean, I often wonder in science fiction movies why we assume that anyone visiting Earth is going to be hostile and they're going to take us over and they're going to be monsters. These aliens seem pretty clever. They figured out a way to get to our planet without having to get in a spaceship and fly here. And maybe it would be wonderful. I mean, if you were a woman and you were having twins and you knew that they were, in fact, a life form from outer space, well, I guess most women probably wouldn't like that, would they? No. But there would be some women with the imagination to say, hey, that's really neat. I'm going to have aliens. I'm curious.
I don't think I'd like that movie either.
Okay, next movie. Our next movie is a very strange, dark fable named All the Little Animals. And despite the title, this is not a children's film, although older children might enjoy its bold strokes of good and evil and such stock characters as a wicked stepfather and a hermit who lives in a cottage in the woods. The movie stars Christian Bale as Bobby, a rich but somewhat brain-damaged 23-year-old whose beloved mother dies after, according to him, his stepfather shouted her to death. The stepfather wants to get his hands on the family fortune, but Bobby runs away. Someone saw Bobby try to prevent that truck driver from killing the fox, and it was John Hurt, who plays Mr. Summers, a mysterious man who lives in the woods and devotes his life to burying dead animals.
I buried rabbits, rats, mice, birds, frogs, hedgehogs, even snails.
But where'd you find so many things to bury?
Where do you think? On the roads, boy, on the bloody roads. The car is a killing machine, pure and simple.
Mr. Summers enlists Bobby in his campaign of guerrilla warfare against those who take the lives of other living things, including this moth collector.
Take this stone, run as close as you dare, and throw it right in the center. Throw it as hard as you can. Smash it. You think you can do that?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
I was intrigued by the way All the Little Animals kept surprising me. The story doesn't fall into predictable patterns, but involves characters who are driven by deep, fundamental obsessions, and they're all ambiguous. Mr. Summers, for example, has a very troublesome and complicated past. This is not a great movie, but it's a consistently fascinating one with the ruthlessness of a Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
I agree. I was consistently surprised. It starts off, you think it's going to be a children's fable. It becomes very dark. It becomes even darker. It takes twists. It takes turns. I thought Christian Bale gave a heck of a performance here.
This movie just unfolds level after level of deeper and deeper obsession and fear and dread. And it works like a fairy tale, but one for grown-ups.
The director became obsessed with this when he read the book. And that I can understand. I can see if this catches you at the right moment in your life, you will never forget it.
When we come back, our video pick of the week, an animated classic back in a restored print with a new digital soundtrack.
All the lonely people, where do they all come from?
Roger Ebert in the Movies video pick of the week is brought to you by Nestle's Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
Like a love letter from the Flower Power era, a restored version of Yellow Submarine is making its way around the country, and soon it will be in video stores with whimsical charm and 11 Beatles songs. The movie uses creative and fanciful graphics, obviously inspired by Peter Max, to tell the story of how the Blue Meanies cast a paralyzing force into Pepperland and silence all the music. Only old Fred, leader of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, escapes the Meanies. He journeys in the Yellow Submarine to enlist the help of the Beatles. The animation has a lot of fun with dimensional paradoxes, as in this scene from the Sea of Holes.
Is anybody home? Where are we?
The Holy See. This place reminds me of Blackburn, Lancashire.
Oh, boy.
The movie was originally released in mono, but the restored version was remixed at the famous Abbey Road Studios into 6-track digital surround sound.
Lucy in the sky with diamonds.
It's a real treasure. Look for it now, Yellow Submarine, in your nearest repertory theater. It's going around the country on film, and then it's going to be in video stores on September the 14th.
The perfect view of 1968. The movie, again, they say about the 60s, if you remember them, you weren't there. And I was surprised at how much I didn't remember about Yellow Submarine. that I just like. The
Well,
graphics
one thing,
are clever.
The graphics are clever, and even though it isn't full motion animation, who cares? Modern Japanese anime isn't full motion either. What they do is they have the moving camera, and they have planes and levels of things that are having the brilliant, bright colors, and then these interesting things they do with space and time. I love the creature with the big vacuum nose, and it vacuums up everything in sight, and then it vacuums up everything in the frame, and then it looks around, and it sees its tail, and it vacuums up itself. I just love that scene.
The truth is, the book, which we would call it if it were a Broadway musical, is very, very weak, and the dialogue isn't so good, and the real Beatles were funnier, but that music and the way it sounds, surround sound on a DVD, this is a reason to buy a DVD.
I'll tell you, I think now that it's back, this movie is not going to go away again.
Far out. Groovy.
Okay, we'll be right back.
We interrupt this program for this important announcement. MCI now offers 5 cents a minute every day. That's just 5 cents every evening and all weekend long. Presenting the billboard of the millennium. Let it rip.
MCI, 5 cents every day.
That's one powerful message. Call 1-800 every day to join.
Driving cross country by myself. I am out there. Woo! I had no idea the country was so big. I'm so bored.
Careful, real hot.
Captain's log, day 3. I've eaten my last pecan roll. Day 4.
Go.
Even on the road, you can do more with the American Express card. I'm beginning to like this country music.
Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. 2 thumbs down for Chill Factor, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and Skeet Ulrich. It never rises above 50 degrees. 2 thumbs up, though, for In Too Deep, and we like the performances by Omar Epps and LL Cool J. 2 thumbs down, though, for Dudley Do-Right, pretty thin for a feature-length film. 2 thumbs down for The Astronaut's Wife with Johnny Depp and Charlize Theron. Great setup, no payoff. And finally, we were both surprised how much we liked All the Little Animals. Not a children's picture, but a deep Jungian fable. Thanks for being back this week, Joel.
Glad to be back.
Nice to have you. Okay, remember, you can hear our reviews on the web at ebert-movies.com. Both myself and Joel this week, part of the Go Network. Next week, more new movies, including Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Get the exact same contacts prescribed by your doctor. Only with 1-800-CONTACTS, you get them for less. Call 1-800-CONTACTS or visit us at contacts.com.
History teaches us many lessons, one of which is few things last. Like a Moen faucet. Moen, buy it for looks, buy it for life.
Nothing tastes like popcorn cooked in a pot on the stove. Except, new home-style microwave popcorn from Pop Secret.
Now, Croissant Pockets has a new, tender and flaky bakery-style crust that's even harder to resist. Croissant Pockets with a new bakery-style crust.
Closed captioning for Roger Ebert in the Movies is brought to you by...
No business wants to be in the red, but the money you save at Office Max could help keep you in the black. Office Max, we go to the max for you.